जय श्री राम दोस्तों। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। Welcome back to my Vedic Astrology channel, Astro Satyajit. And today we are going to cover a very important and a very critical aspect of Vedic astrology. All of us want to be famous. We want to become that, big personalities, the eminent personalities. We want people to like us, people to believe in us, and people to trust us. So it's all related to fame. At the end of the day, if you are aspiring fame, we need to be concerned about, or we need to be very critical about, how are we perceived by the world. So we ourselves are, maybe a personality that we ourselves are aware of. Okay, there's a particular nature that an individual might have. There might be a particular personality that the individual would like to project or display to the outer world. However, how we are perceived by the world, that's critical. That अगर हम सरल भाषा में ये कहें कि हम बहुत ज्यादा नाम कमाना चाहते हैं, हम चाहते हैं दुनिया में हमारा नाम हो, हमें इज्जत मिले, सम्मान मिले, वी गेट रिस्पेक्ट, वी गेट ऑनर, people give us respect, give us that honor. We need to be very clear about how we as a personality, we as a individual is perceived by the world. Now, how can you control how will you be perceived? Is that simple? Because we all understand that, as we say, beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. So again, perception is something that the world decides. You can try to project a certain personality, which is maybe your true personality. However, still you do not have control over how the world is perceiving you. But here comes Vedic astrology, and one very beautiful technique in Vedic astrology, which will help you not only identify how you are perceived by the world, but you'll also be able to work on it and make it in your favor. So that if there are any thing which are not correct about you, if the world is not perceiving you correct, you can work on it, or at least you are aware that how are you going to be perceived. That means in this technique, there is a cue that we all will get, who all wants to become famous, who all want to become famous in this lifetime. Their perception in society, or how the society or how the world perceives them as a personality, should be very good. Unless and until you are perceived as something big, unless and until you are perceived as powerful, the world is not going to believe you're powerful. Unless and until you're perceived as intelligent, you're perceived as a great speaker, a great orator. You may be a great speaker, you might be wonderful with your communication skills, but it all matters how are you perceived by the world. So, okay, I'll quickly come to how we can, check in our Vedic charts that how is the world perceiving us as a personality. There comes a technique which is called identifying the Arudha Lagna for an individual. Now, you all are aware that there is a Lagna, there is an ascendant, and the ascendant is across your D1 chart, which is your Lagna Kundli, and then there are ascendants for all the divisional charts. And we understand ascendant becomes the most important part of our Vedic horoscope, because the ascendant lord is the mortal self, is our mortal sharir, the ascendant lord. And the ascendant talks about the circumstances, the situations, and our personality traits. It talks about our overall, health, name, overall welfare. So the ascendant is one of the most critical houses, or the most critical house of your horoscope, if I have to say it. However, the ascendant is you. Okay, that's your personality. The planets placed in the ascendant it will definitely add a flavor to your personality, to your nature. Depending on what is your ascendant sign, which planet rules your ascendant, that will have an impact in your personality. Depending on which are the planets placed in your ascendant, if any, they will definitely play a role and have an influence over your personality, over your nature. And even planets which are aspecting your ascendant from a different house in your Vedic horoscope will also have a say in your personality and nature. But after understanding the personality, the nature, still you might be misunderstood. You might be, perceived as something else. And there, begins the struggle. Okay. So Arudha Lagna can be the key to check that will you achieve immense name, popularity in this lifetime or not. So I'll quickly try and show you through a chart so that it becomes simple for you. And I do not want you people again, because I do understand. Let me share my screen with you guys so that we are sure of how we calculate the Arudha Lagna. Okay. I'll just share my screen. Okay. So I believe, friends, my screen is visible to you. This is basically, as I said, that you can use any of the Vedic astrology softwares, and namely, I did name either you may go ahead with Jagannath Hora or you may use Parashar Light. So I'm using Parashar Light currently. So this is our, current Vedic chart. Okay. So this is a Prashna Kundli, you can say. This is the current date, which is the 26th September 2025. And I'm doing this live interaction from, Ghaziabad, Uttar Pradesh, India. So I've taken the current time, the Indian Standard Time, which is 1900 hours, 52 minutes and 47 seconds. So this shows us the normal horoscope. Okay. This is what we refer to as the Lagna Kundli. Okay. And currently the Lagna rising in the horoscope, currently the Lagna rising is Aries ascendant. Okay. So it's a Kal Purush Kundli. However, as per the current date and time, Aries is rising. Okay. And so this is the ascendant. This has a say in your personality, in your behavior, your character, your nature. And Mars being the ruler of your, I would say, ascendant. So Mars will have a say in your nature, personality. This will give you that drive, that aggressive, that assertive, that go-getter kind of a personality, that fighting spirit within you. That is Mars. That energy within you, that energetic you is what you are. However, if we have to calculate the Arudha Lagna for any individual, friends, we have to look at the ascendant lord. And if we find in this example chart, the ascendant lord has moved 7 places away from its own house. So if this is the ascendant, Mars is ruling the ascendant, okay, or Mars is the ascendant lord. If we start counting anti-clockwise from this house, which is the Lagna, this is the number 1 house. This is number 2. This is number 3. This is number 4. This is number 5. This is number 6. This is number 7. So Mars has moved 7 places from its own house, or the ascendant lord has moved 7 places from the ascendant. Now, if we have to calculate the Arudha Lagna, we count the same number of houses the ascendant lord has traveled in your horoscope. So if someone had the ascendant lord in their 3rd house, we would have counted 3 places from the 3rd house. 1, 2, 3. The Arudha Lagna would have been in the fifth house for those individuals. In this case, because the ascendant lord has moved 7 places from the ascendant, friends, so we will count 7 again from Mars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We come back to the ascendant. Now here Rishi Parashar has given us an exception, or there are 2 exception rules. I'll just quickly share those exception rules. Since this is the ascendant itself, and this is the mirror image, this is the 7th house, okay? This is your mirror image, okay? And hence we say that this is the other side of the coin. If this is you, this is your life partner, this is your spouse. The same way, if this is you, this is exactly the mirror image of your personality, your true personality, okay? Hence Rishi Parashar said that when we are trying to assess or judge how are we going to be perceived by the world, what kind of an image will the world will have about us, if the Arudha Lagna happens to fall in the Lagna, or if the Arudha Lagna happens to fall in the 7th house, we cannot consider Arudha Lagna in the ascendant, and we also cannot consider Arudha Lagna in the 7th house. We will count 10 places away from that point to actually reach the Arudha Lagna in such cases. I'll repeat. In this case, hear me out. The ascendant lord has moved 7 places, which is Mars is in the 7th house. When we again count 7 places, we go back, we reach the ascendant again. The exception rule of Rishi Parashar for calculating the Arudha Lagna doesn't allow us to have the Arudha Lagna in the Lagna or even the Arudha Lagna in the 7th house. Hence, we will have to count 10 places from this house. How we reach this house? I repeat it again. Mars has moved, the ascendant lord has moved 7 places away from the ascendant. We again count 7. We reach the ascendant again because it can't be in the ascendant. The rule says, the exception rule of calculating the Arudha Lagna says that we will count 10 places from this place. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now, this is the Arudha Lagna for this individual, the 10th house. Okay, that means instead of you being a Martian energy or you being Mars yourself, that is your personality, Mars rules your personality, your first house, you will be perceived by the world as a more of a Saturn person, because the world will see you more of Capricorn rather than Aries. So you will be seen as very ambitious by the world. You may be. I'm again not saying. See, in this, it doesn't mean that for every Arudha Lagna, wherever the Arudha Lagna may fall, at times it will beautifully complement your real personality. And that is when, see, if you have qualities, see, I'll tell you, at times people may be very competent. They have those, genuine qualities which can give them mass popularity, which can give them fame. At times there are cases when, you might not be that great, but the world perceives you to be much greater. Okay? You may be good at a particular thing, but the world may perceive you as the best in that line of work. Okay? So in this case, as I said, rather than the world actually knowing you as an Aries individual, or Mars having a direct aspect here, understand, Mars is also aspecting the Lagna, but still, because the Arudha Lagna happens to fall in the 10th house, so we'll have to now assess which are the planets aspecting or which are the planets sitting, and where is the Arudha Lagna Lord himself placed in the horoscope. Now, if you find this is your Arudha Lagna, the Arudha Lagna Lord is in the 12th house. Okay, mark this. This is the Arudha Lagna. The planets aspecting the Arudha Lagna is Jupiter from the third house. So there is Jupiter's, no, Jupiter is not aspecting, guys, because Jupiter is aspecting Rahu from the third house. So it's only Mars which is aspecting your 10th house. Now, again, this is good for this individual, this example, that the Mars energy, that assertiveness, that go-getter kind of a personality which you truly are, will have a say, will have an influence, again, over your Arudha Lagna, which is your public image. This is how you are perceived. Understand this. You have Mars aspecting that particular house. And Mars happens to be exalted in Capricorn. So Mars force drishti in Capricorn is going to, give you that Martian quality in your personality, which is perceived by the world. Understand this. However, you'll also have to see where is the Arudha Lagna Lord sitting in the horoscope. So the Arudha Lagna Lord is Saturn, and Saturn has moved 3 places away. So this shows that the person is quite, he's very bold, he's hardworking. Now, this is the perception. You truly are hardworking or not, you truly are bold or not, was to be seen by the strength of your third house Lord. Now, in this example, the third house Lord Mercury happens to be exalted in the 6th house. Okay, it's a Viprit Raj Yoga. See, I always said the 6th house Lord, the 8th house Lord, the 12th house Lord are the Trik Bhavas. With my experience and learning, I also consider for Viprit Raj Yoga formation, the third house Lord as well. So if the third house Lord, the 6th house Lord, the 8th house Lord, or the 12th house Lord happen to be placed in these houses, it forms a Viprit Raj Yoga. In this example, Mercury happens to be the third house Lord and being exalted in the 6th. However, a Jupiter placed in your third house is definitely not making you that courageous, or your risk appetite may not be that high. Okay. You may struggle to take too many bold decisions or too many risks in life. You may not be that much hardworking. Okay. This is Parakram. But from the Arudha Lagna, now look at, from the Arudha Lagna, your Parakram Sthan has the ascendant lord of your Arudha. So this shows that you are very hardworking. The world thinks that you put in a lot of effort, or you put in a lot of effort to any karma that you do in this lifetime. Arudha Lagna is extremely important. Let me give you another example. Okay, so let me this time, let's assume that we are looking at a Libra ascendant, a Tula Lagna horoscope. Okay. I'm just giving you a couple of examples so that this concept of Arudha Lagna is clear. You all are aware of how to calculate the Arudha Lagna in your respective horoscopes. This is extremely critical. I'm not doing this live interaction about Arudha Lagna just to take you through a new topic or a new subject of Vedic astrology. Yes, when you get associated with me and join my Vedic astrology classes, I will, teach you from A to Z of Vedic astrology, and I will share my entire knowledge and experience that I have been able to gather and still gathering for the last 23 plus years. However, right now, the reason of covering Arudha Lagna, if we want to be famous, if we want to make a mark in society in this Janma, whatever effort, whatever we do, it all depends on how are we perceived by the world, and hence understanding, working in alignment with your Arudha Lagna, the Arudha Lagna Lord, looking at how your Arudha Lagna complements your actual Lagna, or maybe looking at, are there contradictions in those two personalities, your real personality, which is your D1 Lagna, and your perceived personality, which is your Arudha Lagna. Hence, this topic becomes very critical, guys. I hope you will appreciate this. Okay. Now, if you see, in this case, it's a Libra ascendant horoscope. Okay. So it starts from number 7 Rashi, number 7 zodiac, which is Libra, which is Tula Rashi. So it's a Tula Lagna example. We will just look at where is Venus in this horoscope. So if we look at the horoscope, Venus happens to be in the 11th house. See, again, I counted anti-clockwise from the Lagna. So this is house number 1, this is house number 2, house number 3, house number 4, house number 5, house number 6, house number 7, house number 8, house number 9, house number 10, house number 11, where we have the ascendant Lord Venus. Now, the simple rule is we will again count 11 from the same house where the ascendant Lord himself is sitting. So if we count 11 places from this house, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now, this becomes your Arudha Lagna. Now, your actual Lagna, which is Libra ruled, may have this aggressive, this energetic Mars, making you that assertive, authoritative kind of a personality, yet balanced because you are a Libra. However, the world will perceive you more as a communicator who has a lot of wisdom and knowledge. Now, from where did this guy who was the diplomat, he wants to balance it, he wants to be fair. Yes, he's aggressive, assertive, high on energy, go-getter. But now the personality becomes, the perceived personality is this house. What is the Rashi in the Arudha Lagna? Gemini. Okay. And which is the planet placed in your Arudha Lagna? Because it is not necessary that in your respective Arudha Lagnas, you'll always have a planet. But in this example, I have a Jupiter placed. Now, Jupiter is all about knowledge. Jupiter is wisdom. Jupiter is maturity. So the world will perceive you somebody who's not in a hurry, not in a rush, which you may be, Mars, okay, high on energy. But this gives you that mature personality. This number 3 makes you that communicator, that social creature. The third house is our hobbies, Third house is again our neighbors. Third house is short distance travel. Third house is for publication, so our written communication skills. Now, Gemini being the Arudha Lagna Rashi and Jupiter being placed here, okay, gives you that makes your perceived personality as of a Gemini guy with Jupiter in the Lagna. So if I had to show you the Arudha Lagna, just by rotating this is the personality which is perceived by the world. So this is what the world will think you are. A Gemini rising with Jupiter in the Lagna. Understand this. And you actually were what? We took the example of that you are a Libra rising with Mars in the ascendant. Okay? Give me one second. So this was the example that you are a Libra ascendant with Mars, high on energy, aggression, assertiveness. But now the world will look at you as the mature person, the knowledgeable, the person whom they can come and seek advices from. The world will see you as that person with a lot of wisdom and knowledge. They will come and seek your advice, maybe for matters. So I hope you are able to appreciate what is the importance of the Arudha Lagna, which is your perceived image, your perceived personality, guys. Today, I just thought, we might, do, I'm not sure. Okay. I will also very soon start taking, questions, live questions. Okay. And it is just to ensure that we make the sessions more interactive. And I would genuinely want you guys to, like my videos, share them in different forums, share them with different astrology enthusiasts. And you can also let me know if there is any particular topic of Vedic astrology you want to cover, you want me to cover. Definitely, I will do that. Okay, so today we talked about Arudha Lagna, the perceived personality. In our next interaction, we will cover another important Lagna. Okay, we will cover another important Lagna, which is called Karakamsa Lagna, through which you would understand and appreciate, what is the soul journey or what is the purpose of the soul in this Janma. Now, there are certain things and it will, have a say in the success in your professional career. It will have a say in the struggles that you might face in your professional career. So Karakamsa Lagna, again, is a Lagna where we check that is there harmony between the karma that the physical self is doing, the aspirations or the karma path the physical self is, identifying or choosing in this particular lifetime. Is it in harmony? Understand, is it in harmony with your, or in alignment, in sync with the karmic journey with the soul would travel or definitely would want us to travel? We can cover the Karakamsa Lagna introduction in this video itself. So let me just give you an example. Let me share my screen again. Let's take any example. Or let me I have taken, for example, the chart of Albert Einstein. Okay. So Albert Einstein, these are the birth details you can see for yourself. He was born in Germany, 14th March 1879. The time of birth is 11:30 in the morning. Now, this is Albert Einstein's Vedic horoscope, but this is the D1 chart. We will check both the Arudha Lagna for Albert Einstein, and I will also take you through how to identify the Karakamsa Lagna, which holds a key in your professional journey, the success and the struggles that you will have in your professional, I would say, journey. And Arudha Lagna anyways covered you. It's about how you are perceived by the world. Okay. So your perceived personality versus your real personality. So the perceived personality is Arudha Lagna. The real personality is your Lagna. The ascendant lord is Mercury. Albert Einstein has a Gemini rising. Mercury is in the 10th house. We count 10 places from this house. So we reach the 7th house. The 7th house and the Lagna cannot be the Arudha Lagna. I told you the Parashari rule, the exceptions. The Lagna cannot be the Arudha Lagna, and the 7th house can't be the Arudha Lagna. I also explained you why. So we will count 10 places from the 7th house. So we will reach the 4th house, friends. So the Arudha Lagna of Albert Einstein will be the 4th house. Now, if you see, the 4th house is, again, his own personality was Mercury, Gemini rising. His perceived personality is the higher octave or even better. So this is the Mool Trikon Sthan, or the sign of exaltation of Mercury. Okay, Mercury rules both Gemini and Virgo, and Mercury gets even more stronger and more prominent in Virgo. So he truly, his intelligence is, his perceived personality also has the Mercury flavor. And rather, his perceived personality is even stronger than his own real Lagna. Now, understand the beauty. We always say that, planets aspecting the Lagna is a good sign, because there should be either planets sitting in the Lagna, or at least different planets should be aspecting the Lagna. That gives Lagna strength. Now, in his original Lagna, if you see, it's just Jupiter from the 9th house, which has a 5th aspect on the Lagna. Okay, there are no other planets. However, and the ascendant lord is not able to aspect the ascendant. But now look at his perceived personality. Okay, what the world considers him as. Now he's again a Virgo. Let me show you the chart. This is his perceived personality. Okay. Now see, the ascendant lord Mercury is right on the 7th house, aspecting your Lagna, the Arudha Lagna. Exalted Venus, which is also doing a Nij Bhanga for this debilitated Mercury, aspecting the Arudha Lagna, Mercury, Venus, Sun and Saturn. So these 4 planets now are aspecting his Lagna, Arudha Lagna, and from the 5th house, Rahu also cast the aspect, the 9th aspect on his Arudha Lagna. So initially, in the original Lagna, when we were checking, friends, we only saw Jupiter having a say, okay? Jupiter giving a drishti or an aspect to his Lagna. It was not making that personality, that prominent. But the moment we calculated the Arudha Lagna and we knew that the Arudha Lagna is in the 4th house of Albert Einstein's horoscope, now just see how beautifully this image is becoming so powerful. The Arudha Lagna Lord, Mercury, though debilitated, it's a strong debilitation, cancellation of debilitation. It's a strong Nij Bhanga, sitting within planet, exalted planet. 4 planets plus Rahu. Now 5 planets are aspecting. Okay. So this now makes his perceived personality even much larger, much bigger, more impactful than his actual personality, what he was. Okay. Now I will make you understand the Karakamsa Lagna. Okay. For the Karakamsa Lagna, we need to identify the Atma Karaka first. Atma Karaka is the planet with the highest degree. Now, in the case of Albert Einstein, if you see, Saturn with 28 degrees and 20 minutes happens to be the Atma Karaka for Albert Einstein. We'll have to quickly look at the Navamsha. This is D9, friends. Okay. Just one sec. In the Navamsha, we need to identify in which Rashi is Saturn placed in, the Atma Karaka. The Atma Karaka is placed in Gemini. Saturn is in Gemini. in the Navamsha. We simply need to rotate the Lagna Kundli as per the Rashi in which the Atmakaraka Saturn is placed. Now see again, so beautiful. Albert Einstein's Karakamsa Lagna and his actual Lagna both are the same. I do not need to change or rotate this Lagna Kundli of Albert Einstein from a different house because his Atmakarak Saturn placed in Gemini in his D9 chart. Gemini happens to be his original ascendant. So this is not only his ascendant, guys. This is also his Karakamsha Lagna. So both the Lagna and the Karakamsha Lagna are absolutely the same house. So there is absolute harmony in whatever karma the sharir, the mortal self of Albert Einstein would be doing or wants to do in this janma. That's exactly what the soul wants him to do. And such examples make great personalities. They are those big people, the people who make an impact, and through their work, they are able to contribute in a very big manner in this world. Just see how beautifully, and see, these are examples. I'm doing it on the run. You understand? This is a live session, guys. I don't genuinely knew that I'm going to pull up, Albert Einstein's chart and one sec. Okay. I'm sorry. Now that's what I was talking about. When we were doing the Arudha Lagna example, yes, we were on Albert Einstein's chart, guys. And while calculating the Arudha Lagna, I clearly said that the original Lagna of Albert Einstein is Gemini, but because Mercury is placed in the 10th house, we counted 10 from it. So we reached the 7th house. The Lagna and the 7th cannot be the Arudha Lagna. So I counted again 10 houses, 10 places. So this was the Arudha Lagna for Albert Einstein. But now just see, maybe I just happened to click on a different tab and this was Bill Gates' horoscope, guys. Okay, I just happened to realize it. Bill Gates, 28th October, 1955, time 2100 hours and 15 minutes, Seattle, Washington, USA. Now just see, same example. Saturn Atmakaraka for Bill Gates in Gemini Rashi in his D9 horoscope. So his Karakamsha Lagna happens to be Gemini. So this is again an example of those great personalities because whatever karma the sharir is performing is in absolute harmony with the karma the soul wants us to do. So the karma of the soul and the karma of the sharir are absolutely the same for Bill Gates. Let's check it even for Albert Einstein. Okay. Albert Einstein has Venus as Atmakaraka. Just see Venus, 24 degree, 48 minutes. This is the planet with the highest degree. So this becomes the Char Atmakaraka. We will have to look at where Venus is placed in Albert Einstein's D9 horoscope, D9 chart, Navamsha. So we found Venus is in Aquarius. Now this is the D1 chart of Albert Einstein. I just rotate the same chart from that Rashi, okay, from that Rashi where the Atmakaraka Venus is placed in the Navamsha. Now this becomes his Karakamsha Lagna. Okay, this becomes his Karakamsha Lagna. Now, when we will read the Karakamsha Lagna, see now his original Lagna was Gemini. His Karakamsha Lagna is Aquarius. I will just simply tell you one thing, and I have told you, multiple interactions. Rashis or zodiacs which are in trines to each other have similar energies or similar karma. As we say, 1, 5, 9 are Dharma Trikon, 2, 6, 10 is Artha Trikon, 3, 7, 11 is Kam Trikon, and 4, 8, 12 is Moksha Trikon. That means similar Rashis trines to each other, 1, 5, 9 from each other, show similar traits or similar energies. Now just see, his original Lagna is Gemini, and his Karakamsa Lagna is Aquarius. There is absolute harmony. It doesn't become a case of Bill Gates where the actual Lagna and the Karakamsa Lagna were the same. So this was the easiest chart as an example if we have to look at the karma that this, the person will genuinely do. He has or she has no choice but to do, because exactly everything that the Sharir wants to perform in such an example, in such a case where the Lagna and the Karakamsh Lagna become the same house, same Rashi, all the karma that this individual performs or is trying to perform in the material world is in absolute harmony with whatever karma the soul wants us to perform in this lifetime. So we talked about two, I would say, Lagna's friends in today's interaction. One I talked about as the perceived personality, which is Arudha Lagna. And the other I talked about is Karakamsha Lagna, which talks about, the karma that the soul is here, or the karma of the soul. And by understanding, the Karakamsha Lagna, we are able to assess how easy will be our, karma or our professional journey in this material world, I would say, because the karma that the Sharir is performing should be in absolute harmony with whatever the karma the soul is here to perform. So I will keep it, I'll pause this interaction here, friends. And I would genuinely request all my viewers, because I've noticed it for some time, that my viewers are watching, maybe they are liking my video. Yes, they're finding them, original, genuine, and I'm actually trying to share the Yatharth, the real Vedic astrology with you guys. But I would request all my viewers to please subscribe also to my channel. Please do like my videos. Please help me expand my family of Astro Satyajit. It's a genuine request and a humble request to all my viewers to please subscribe, and I would just leave it here. And yes, you may please reach out to my website, which is astrosatyajit.com, ASTROSATYAJIT, astrosatyajit.com, and you can book a consultation for yourself, or you can drop in a message on my WhatsApp number. It's my India WhatsApp number, +91 99 710 77155. And you can reach me out for any reading purposes or to know about my classes, which are currently running. And I am also planning to start an extensive advanced course on Vedic astrology. It will be a 2-year course, and we will slowly, we will graduate. And I genuinely, in the process, it's like a degree program, you could say. Yes, we will have those classes over weekends. So it's, I will only take you 4 to 6 or rather the engagement will be 4 to 6 classes in a month. Those sessions, those interactions would be a 2 to 3 hour kind of interaction on each class. And I've structured it as a 2-year program. So you can reach out to me on my WhatsApp number, and I can share the course details and the fee structure. It's a monthly payment plan. And people who find, that they are getting the real knowledge of Vedic astrology, they can continue with the association. You can anytime opt out from the course, because I'm not going to take the whole hefty fee amount in advance. It is, paid on a monthly basis, and you continue the journey, and we all continue the journey together for 2 years. And I can affirmatively, or rather, I can, surely tell you, say this with a lot of affirmation and confidence, that the 2 year advance program of Vedic astrology, you will understand the real essence of Vedic astrology. You would really appreciate what I want, which is astrology is not a mere predictive tool. Astrology is way of life. And that's my intent of engaging in a 2 year program with you guys. So thank you so much. Jai Shri Ram Dosto. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namah.